More!
Lunch break!
Welcome to another episode of Lunch Break.
A first ever.
Yeah.
But desperate times call for desperate measures.
This is a special COVID-19 episode of Lunch Break. As you can see, we have changed our setup to keep distance from each other.
6 feet apart.
Phil's on the backdrop, as you can see, so he's kind of faithful to the brand.
Yeah.
In a way, this is BTS of Lunch Break because you get to see what's on the other side of the camera, which is...
We've never showed the other
What I got?
sides of the room. It's true, yeah.
You guys are probably very disappointed to not know that it goes all the way around.
So we decided to lock ourselves in a bunker and survive for the next 2 weeks.
We work in a bunker. We've been preparing for a while, yeah.
This was not planned. We had another episode that was going to come out this week. But with everything going on in the world right now and specifically Los Angeles, we didn't want to not address what was
We
going
had to
on.
talk about it.
Exactly.
I think it affects our community so much and our daily lives, and we have so much to say about it. And I think it was important for you guys to hear from us about especially what's going on.
Yeah.
You know.
Right. So we decided to come in just for this, but took the necessary precautions. But after this, we're going to be going back home. We've been working from home.
It's going to continue for the foreseeable future until we kind of see things kind of dwindle down. But we also wanted to give a big shout out to one of our care holders. We're doing this thing called Plus One, which is where we kind of select at random one of our special care holders. And this episode is Chanda Kumar. Thank you so much, Chanda.
Yeah, imagine you're sitting with us at the table because you are, and you're here for a very special episode.
But you're sitting 6 feet apart from us. You're still a plus one, but we want to keep you safe as well. You wanted us to eat Vietnamese food, so there we go. Thank you.
So I think, well, first, as Taylor said, we're doing everything we can here to keep everyone safe, and that means keeping up with the news. That said, we are not a source for data, or we'll link some of those links for the right sources.
We're reading the same websites that you guys
Yeah.
will be reading, yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to be mainly talking about our perspective and how things have affected us and our own thoughts.
But let's give you a little context of what the current state is as of recording this episode. But yeah, today is Monday, March 16th. Let's give you some context to what has happened so far. Yeah?
Yeah. Los Angeles just yesterday. As of right now,
The city of
the city of Los Angeles yesterday said that all bars, theaters, nightclubs have to be closed. Restaurants can be to-go only, like only takeout. So this social distancing thing, which was a suggestion before, is now like,
full steam.
yeah.
Especially for like this city too. That's a very like local, that's implemented across many cities
Yeah.
in the US.
Like New York City.
Yeah.
The bigger cities for sure. The schools have been closed in a lot of these big school districts.
Schools have been closed. NBA's done for the season. There's no March Madness. Like
Well,
this is
you could argue it's the most madness.
most mad.
A lot of
Every
big
sport, right?
A lot of big professional sports.
Movies are being pushed back.
A lot of movies are delayed. Let's list them. You have
007.
007.
The No Time to Die.
Right, and people were like, "What?" And then
Yeah.
it's true. There was
Everybody
no
else
time to
follows-
die.
Yeah, and then everybody else followed suit. So we had Mulan, we had A Quiet Place,
New Mutants.
New Mutants. Pretty much most distributors, all the bigger ones with the bigger marketing budgets, they
yeah,
definitely had to push.
Well, even if they didn't want to, like theaters are closed now, so like they have no choice. And that's I think what's scary about this is that, I mean, I don't want to use scare too much, but that's what's kind of crazy about this is that literally day to day there's something that's
Yeah.
developing. It's just kind of changing how everyone's kind of working. Yeah.
A lot of the city officials are still like encouraging us to, like a lot of the restaurants are to go, so it's still encouraging us to support these more vulnerable businesses during this time.
Yeah. Stock market's crashing.
Yeah,
Stock market.
that's a big. That's a whole other.
Sure. A lot of festivals, a lot of theme parks. Disneyland closing was big headlines.
What was it? This is only the third time Disneyland has closed.
Fourth
Is that-
time.
Fourth time?
Yeah,
Once was.
JFK, 9/11, and the Northridge earthquake.
Oh wow. You know this is crazy when even the happiest place on earth has to.
Be sad.
Has to be sad.
It was probably some people's escape from this
Right.
crazy world, and now they can't even do that.
I think about all the people that were like supposed to have like weddings, you know, like around this time that just had to cancel everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what's even crazy is like I know in Italy, even not only weddings but funerals. Like even if someone were to pass away, you can't have congregations of
Oh my
people.
God.
Yeah, so it's like in those situations, like
So this whole thing started with everyone saying coronavirus, coronavirus, and this is new, like I just learned this like a few days ago.
It's a common thing.
Yeah, coronavirus is just a type.
it's a type of yeah,
Right.
it's very
There's a lot.
common.
Yeah, very common.
Common colds are, I think, a similar strain, and yeah, MERS.
All these like art students talking about biology right now.
We're relaying info that we've got from the same sources you have.
So yeah, so the COVID-19 is a coronavirus disease 2019.
A lot of people out there are asking like what the symptoms of COVID-19 are, and you can find it online. It's a fever, you have shortness of breath, you have like a dry cough.
Coughing, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of respiratory.
Right.
related
So it's a lot of like symptoms that are similar to like the flu and stuff,
Yeah.
which is why people are scared. And
Well, I think the
sure.
scariest part is that the symptoms don't show for 2 weeks.
right. And then the main thing that people are talking about too is how the people most at risk are elderly, and people below a certain age are have a less chance of
Yeah,
like,
lower
death.
mortality.
Yeah.
Yeah. The complications I think are like pneumonia, like severe cases of pneumonia.
There's still a lot of questions like that. There hasn't been enough time for them to really, I think, conclude a lot of things. Like
You can probably even tell from this lunch break, there's a lot of information out there that's circulating on social media, online, and a lot of misinformation that's being circulated online, which is causing.
Yeah, we're in a really interesting time when we have so much information that we have to filter through it. There are some people, like I think most people, our friends, are so concerned about themselves and their friends that they want to share, they want to help everyone. But in doing so, some of that stuff is false. And I even actually fell into that because I was so like, I saw an article, it was a great tip, seemed to make sense. Later found out it wasn't totally right. And actually some of you guys reached out, a lot of people in medical profession, and we got it all cleared up and got like real facts out there.
One of the things we could take away from this is that there's a lot of discussion that needs to happen across all these different little corners of what's going on when it comes to like facts and truth and where to get information, but also when it comes to like the xenophobia and stuff like that.
Yeah, the way
how
I
to-
took it is
yeah.
just everyone is worried and trying to help, and sometimes that comes out in different ways.
Yeah. Context: it originated in Wuhan, China, in end of 2019.
I mean, there's news outlets that are calling it the Chinese flu,
That's stupid.
Kung flu.
But-
Like
Wait, seriously?
But
Yeah.
they have named
Hella racist.
diseases after the places they started.
right. So people are just being very sensitive of like, okay, well, is it racist to call it from where it's from versus
I mean, MERS is defined as Middle Eastern
respiratory.
syndrome. So it's
Yeah.
from the region. So I don't know.
I would draw the line at if you're calling this a Chinese coronavirus, that's too far.
Yeah, it's affecting everyone. It doesn't see race or
Race,
nationality. Like
nationality,
it's a
political
human.
or anything like that.
But profiling people, I think that's why people are so sensitive to it, because when you keep branding it as the Chinese virus, the Wuhan virus, the blah blah blah, it translates to those people who are watching. Oh, this is only
Yeah.
Asian people that have it.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess the big thing is that not only is the disease is spreading, but what's spreading even faster is a lot of the xenophobic and a lot of the racist
Fear mongering.
Yeah.
fear mongering.
At the early stages of coronavirus, that was kind of the predominant thing that we were feeling as a community before it was even labeled a pandemic.
Yeah, way before. It was.
Well, I would like to think that we're at a time when you would think people will be the best of themselves in a situation when it requires that, when you want compassion. But in the end, people are unpredictable and selfish.
The news is definitely perpetuating this stereotype onto us just walking around, and it is hurting a lot of people. Like people are getting attacked, people are getting violently, harassed, and when in reality, yeah, there should be more actually compassion.
With that being said, we could jump into this like how have you individually been dealing with it in your daily lives? Let's start with Phil. As a very
Yeah, I think just the fact that I do have this small business
Yeah.
that is very public facing, and we have customers. It's definitely bringing on a whole bunch of complications or factors that don't think I would have to think of if I was just an employee somewhere. So we decided that for the cafe itself, this was even before it was announced by the government or whatever, like we would just do to-go only. But this was only like a few days ago. So even like up to then, like most businesses were still running, right? Where it might get to a point where we do have to just like close down too. We don't know yet right now. But it's tough because as a business, we still need to function.
yeah.
People need their paychecks.
Right.
People are relying on paychecks. So we have that pressure of like, wait, you're cutting my hours? Like that's a lot of burden on us too. Trying to keep everyone safe, trying to follow the rules, trying to be responsible. So support your small businesses, get to go if you can, or delivery,
But yeah, how about you, Chris?
I was on the west side over the weekend, so it was interesting because I was surprised that, driving by, I was surprised that there were a lot of bars or restaurants that had like a lot of patio space. They were very busy. Maybe it's different now considering the closures or like recommending people to get things to go. I went to a coffee shop. Actually, it's funny because I would actually call ahead and say, oh, is it really crowded, or like is it less busy? And if it's less busy, then I feel a little more inclined to go, and especially because like it was raining for a while, and then it was nice to at least come out a little bit. Yeah.
Well, actually, I want to start by saying I think COVID-19 is an amazing phenomenon that's putting a spotlight on so many different areas that we need to work on as like humans, socially, infrastructure, like spiritually, I guess. What's important? Like, what is this all for? At the end of the day, when you're in your room and you don't have answers, what are you thinking about and what's making you happy? Stuff like that. Most immediately is like my parents up in the Bay. I texted my dad really early on because he has asthma, and it's like pretty bad, chronic asthma. And hearing the stories about people getting attacked, I was very, very concerned. I talked to him, and he's like pretty tough. He's like, I've dealt with this before. My head was going in places where it's like, I don't want you picking a fight with someone either. Like, just walk away. Thankfully, nothing like that has happened yet, and my mom has been okay too. They don't really go out much, so I try to talk to them every day. And then over here, it's you try to be as normal as you can. I think that's the main difference between this and like a disaster movie.
Fearful. Or I know I have family members that were fearful of wearing face masks because they were scared of being like getting dirty looks or targeted as sick just because you're Asian wearing a mask.
Right. There's a lot of heightened negative energy towards Asian people in society now just because of this virus and because they think that we started it. Literally or that we I just got back from there or something. It's just, it's so ignorant and it's like there's even like major newspapers that are being incredibly irresponsible with it and actually like adding to it. It's really upsetting. And obviously like videos and articles of people getting beat up and attacked, and I don't know what I would do in that situation, to be honest. If someone like says something to me, I would want to, retaliate, but
I feel like you'd instinctually, you have to defend yourself or defend your honor, It kind of feels like we've backtracked as in our progress too. It's kind of ironic. It felt like we've made a lot of strides in media, even this year.
And no, even in we had Andrew Yang as a presidential candidate.
And like Oscar, like Parasite won, and then Mulan was coming out.
Yeah.
And then right now people are making fun of Mulan or like vandalizing Mulan. We've completely lost all that.
All the progress. Yeah.
All that.
I don't know if this is better, but I actually feel like it's not backtracked, but it's always been like that. And the wins have been on a very surface level that we can celebrate. But human nature is
There's more deep-rooted dislike or hatred towards
Asian people.
It's just showing the truth that was there.
I think people, because of the model minority myth, maybe people like put up with us or whatever, or maybe it was more subdued. Yeah. But because now they got one opening to start, saying hateful things and getting to express how much they don't like us, and now like the floodgates are open, and they feel like they can say whatever they want because the excuse is, well, the coronavirus, right? So all the worst is coming out. They should towards us, right?
You want to hope for better. You want to hope that we're
you also want to hope that there's progress.
Yeah.
And it just shows you how quickly people can go back to whatever's cheap and easy. And
personally, I think the hardest part is not to have the same feelings back, like not to retaliate in a way that is equally hateful or upset.
If anything, if I was a non-Asian, I would be like on my best behavior to be like, hey, I'm not one of those people. How you doing?
Be an ally?
Yeah, like hold a door open or whatever. Like that's how I try to treat other people too. It's like, hey, like you might not come across a lot of Asian people, so I'm going to try to be the best representation in your life or whatever.
But overall, it's like, we're not saying that you have to like us, but it's more of like, as a whole, everyone should be treating people properly. People should be nice to people. Just be decent people, There's
a lot of things we could talk about. I think, number one, wash your hands. Wash your hands for 20 seconds thoroughly.
Get the thumbs. Don't forget the thumbs.
Thumbs this way, back of the grooves. fingernails. You gotta do all these things.
Shwa, 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 shwa.
The wrist one is the one I don't do. I don't do wrist.
I do the
though.
wrist. You gotta go a little bit further down.
Yeah. I will say that I think you can mark my words. I think this is the death of the handshake, like forever. I think it's gone.
Foot shake coming next year. I think another thing that has to be stated here is social distancing. You've been saying that, you've been hearing that a lot. It's all about flattening the curve.
Flattening the curve, which goes against all of our teachings as Asian students, where you want to set the curve.
Yeah.
We're just setting it, but we're setting it very low. That's what
Set
we
the
want
curve
to do.
very low.
This is about not overwhelming your healthcare system with too many people infected
At the same time.
at the same time. Kind of spread out the number of people diagnosed over a longer period of time so you don't overwhelm your healthcare system.
Basically, give our medical professionals a fighting chance to help others fight it.
Easiest way for you guys to help that is by practicing social distancing.
Even if you're young, it's still important. Like, don't just be like, oh, well, it's only affecting old people or pre-existing conditions. I'm fine. The fact is, you can still carry it to someone else, right? So that's why you still have a role in this to actually care.
Yeah, and share this information. If you need to sneeze or cough, sneeze into your elbow.
Bent.
It's really important that you don't sneeze into your hands or into the air. It's going to get on surfaces. Or again, shout out to our +1 care holder, Chanda Kumar.
Thanks for hanging out with us, and thanks for supporting us through Patreon. In this time, actually, right now, it's very important for us to have our care holders on Patreon because Wong Fu work is definitely disrupted. And yeah, we're not like a restaurant or whatever, but we still are a small business that relies heavily on a lot of factors to create and generate income that are being disrupted right now. So your monthly or your one-time donation makes a huge difference. So thank you to our care holders. And if you're considering wanting to join or make a one-time contribution, you can visit the links below, patreon.com/WongFuProductions. Thankfully, we're still healthy, and we hope that you guys are healthy. Stay safe out there.
Yeah, it's a tough time for everyone as humans in general. So practice common sense and like Chris said, decency. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Well, wash your hands. Da, da, da.